John Lewis is an employee-owned business. We've got product teams set up, we've got agile ways of working, we are very responsive to business need. We kind of want to evidence that, and you want to be able to see what next, where do you want to go? So just understanding how well are we doing as an organisation, and where else can we improve, what do we need to do to take us to the next level.
What DX gives us is just that picture of actually what all our engineering profession looks like, and understand how we might be able to drive good engineering practice and put effort in where it's needed. We just think by taking away those pain points and understanding what they are, we can deliver more benefit for the business.
Really proud of the fact that it was really easy to implement. So people got onboarded with it really quickly. We talked individually to different leaders within delivery and engineering, and just explained the benefits of it, and then talking to teams, and just people adopted it really easily. So I think it's enabling teams to capture their challenges, their successes, what went well, what hasn't gone well locally, which I think is really important. And then also at a global scale or at a domain scale. So whether it's within digital, whether it's within customer, just being able to see it over multiple teams and being able to view the bigger picture and then have discussions at that level with the relevant leadership team is really important as well.
The overall strategy is to incorporate it into our ways of working. So at a team level, it's something that is just seamless to their kind of ways of working, in the same way that a typical agile team has a set of ceremonies, they do retros, all of that kind of thing. We want kind of DX to be a natural part of the conversation within those teams.
We encourage teams to look at their own results, part of retrospectives or their own processes. And then at a department level, we then produce analysis and talk to delivery to understand where we might be able to help prioritise different types of work in the coming quarter. And then beyond that, we look at things across the whole organisation where maybe the engineering profession or leadership even higher up can help us address pain points.
Without me having to go and talk to all of them individually and find out what are you working on, how are things going, what are the challenges, I'm able to use the data from DX to prompt those conversations. So I can say, okay, I can see that you've got some challenges here. Can we have a conversation about that? I use DX then to sort of analyse and look into any sort of challenges or the experiences of the engineers within that space. So looking at it from an analyst point of view, from a engineering profession specialism lead point of view, but also then in customer specifically, how can I support the teams in that area? What are the challenges that they're facing? Where can I get involved and start escalating things or helping them in different ways?
Through some of the other features and things within DX, we get visibility over their onboarding journey. We have a whole onboarding program for a new engineer joining the partnership, and we want to make sure it's as good as it can be. Anything that we can learn through that we can improve for the next engineer that we recruit into the organisation is really important. We're recruiting about 150 engineers. That's quite a large number.
The requirements quality came up as one of the priorities that all teams within engineering wanted to focus on. I think it was like priority number 3. So what we did in the community was sort of say, well, what's the problem here? Like if we're saying that we want to prioritise it, what challenges are we facing? We had a community session where we just got everybody basically to put all their thoughts on a Miro board and then collated it into themes. And we identified that one of the main challenges people were facing was around where there's an initiative that pushes requirements into different teams, like how that approach is taken, and then how things get quickly reprioritized or rejigged, and how it made the receiving teams feel and how they were managing it. So we actually had a session where we said, okay, where you've got experience of pushing requirements into teams, you're in one group. Where you've got experience of receiving those requirements, you're another group. And what does good look like in both those instances? Where you've had that experience, where has it been a really good experience, and what did it look like and what did it feel like? And we just had a really great conversation where we were able to share our experiences, and it gave people food for thought, really. So sort of saying, actually, when I'm in that scenario again, I'll do things differently, or I'll take on that feedback and make sure that my approach is slightly different so that I'm getting people onboarded quicker. I've got, the right people in the right meetings earlier on in the discussions, that sort of thing. But just that approach and that sort of thinking around it instead of, not thinking around it and not having a sort of a good approach. It's just sort of being more considerate on that. So I think that was a really good outcome that people shared and were really open about, what they've experienced and how we can do it better in the future.
What's been really useful for me is the ability to slice the data at different levels. So we can look across whole departments, or we can look at role specific. We can look at the results across back-end engineers or front-end engineers and see actually what's important to them, because sometimes they get lost in the bigger picture if you look at the whole. But because in DX you can set the attributes and look at people who work in this country and abroad, or all these different ways of slicing it, I think that gives real value and helps us to identify the pain points and helps teams to deliver quicker. I just love the ability to slice things in different ways. So an example would be, we were having some low scores in our build processes a few quarters ago, and being able to add different attributes to work out, okay, is this front-end engineers, is this back-end engineers, is it people on a particular platform, or is it something else? Just be able to look at all the different data in all the different ways and have that filtering done for you. It's been really useful.
One of the top priorities that we've had within engineering is around deep work. But what it's enabled us to do is, I think that even the term deep work, a lot of people didn't even know what that term was. And now, if you mention it, everybody does know what it means. And we've had a lot of conversations around it within engineering, locally within teams, understanding what the challenges are and any tips, techniques, changes to your ways of working that will enable better time around deep work. It wasn't something we had really considered previously. People might say, I'm in a lot of meetings, but things might still be done, or timelines might get pushed out. You didn't realise that actually the impact, what the reasons were behind that impact. So you could see things like, for partners, there's a lot of additional meetings they need to go to. So actually the sentiment was lower versus contractors. So for partners, you've got extra responsibilities around people management, you've got extra department meetings to go to. So things like that were distracting partners in their sort of day-to-day product development work. So now it's like thinking about, how do we better structure those days when we have those meetings? Can we put them on, all in the same morning, for example, so that the afternoons are more available for people to focus on their delivery work? So it's just looking at how we can make some small changes and improvements.
I think that evidences the success of DX in that everyone talks about it. And everyone talks about it at team level, and they said, the DX results said this is now what we're focusing on. So it definitely, over the course of the last year, it has been impressive in how it has become part of daily conversation. I think from a leadership context, it's seen as a key measure of how well we're doing.
And obviously people are understanding the value of it, which it kind of speaks for itself.
To see that level of engagement and give us the level of insight that we didn't have before has proved really useful.